Somewhere in the Pacific, there's a place so deep light gives up. Down there, the ocean isn't just dark, it's crushing, silent in a way that feels permanent. And yet, this is the part that shouldn't be possible. Life still exists. Not the kind you expect. Strange bodies, unfamiliar rules, micro-worlds that can rewrite what normal even means. And sometimes, the deep records sounds that feel wrong. A low pulse, ending like metal, like a signal. People call it aliens. But the truth is scarier because it's real and it's here.
The ocean has a boundary most people never think about, the last place sunlight can reach. Below that, the rules change. No photosynthesis, no warm colors, only falling particles, tiny drifts of food, and a pressure so constant it turns engineering into faith. The Mariana Trench sits far beyond that boundary, not just deep, but physically hostile in a way our instincts can't measure. And still, the deep isn't empty. It's occupied by specialists, by scavengers, by creatures shaped by darkness like a sculptor. On the surface, weather is wind and cloud. Down here, weather is current, layer moving over layer, internal waves, a slow, invisible forecast. Sometimes the seafloor storms, sediment lifts into drifting clouds, turning clarity into blindness. A blizzard without snow, a storm without thunder, just motion in a world that was never meant to move fast.
If you want alien, don't look up, look down. Hadal creatures don't just survive pressure, they're built around it. Transparent tissue, soft bodies, mouths designed for scarcity, movements that waste nothing. And in the darkness, some of them make their own stars, bioluminescence. Cold light that exists for one reason, to signal, to lure, or to confuse. Down here, the camera is not your eye. It's a compromise, a pressure sphere, a few meters of visibility, a beam of light so thin it feels like a tunnel. That's why the deep looks like space, not because it's empty, but because the darkness deletes context. Your world becomes whatever the beam touches. Everything else becomes rumor. Even the simplest actions turn into risk. A cable that stiffens, a seal that must stay perfect, a lens that can fog, a hinge that has to move under crushing pressure. So when something appears at the edge of the light, you never know if you're seeing a creature or just seeing your own limitations. And that uncertainty is part of what makes Mariana feel haunted.
The deepest ocean isn't ruled only by animals. It's ruled by the invisible. Viruses. So small they rewrite ecosystems without being seen. And in the ocean, some viruses are unusually large, giant viruses with complex structures, as if the micro-world never agreed to stay simple. In the Hadal Zone, scientists keep finding genetic signatures that don't match what we already know. Not proof of aliens, proof of ignorance. A library we've barely opened.
Then there are the sounds. Sometimes the deep records calls that don't feel biological. A low sweep, a strange texture, a metallic ending. People label it a signal because that's what humans do. When we don't understand something, we give it a story. But in the ocean, sound travels like a ghost. It bends, it refracts, it can arrive far from where it was born. So the question becomes, are we hearing a mystery or just hearing nature through a distorted hallway? The Mariana Trench isn't only a habitat. It's machinery, a tectonic system that drags the seafloor downward. And with it, water, not as a waterfall, as chemistry. Water locked into rock, carried into the earth over time. So the trench doesn't drink the ocean in a day. It consumes it the way geology consumes everything, slowly, relentlessly, at planetary scale. There's one more detail that makes the trench unsettling, because Mariana doesn't only collect geology, it collects leftovers. Tiny fragments, microplastics, chemicals that have no business being this deep. Even here, where sunlight can't reach, the deep still carries fingerprints from the surface. And the strangest part is how quiet it is. No alarm, no drama, just particles drifting down for years until the trench takes them in, the same way it takes everything else, slowly, relentlessly, by gravity and time. So when we say the deep is another world, it's not a fantasy. It's a mirror, showing how far our influence can fall, even into places we've barely seen. Mariana doesn't need aliens. It already feels like another planet. A world beyond light, with its own weather, its own language of sound, and life that looks like it was designed in secret. The deepest lesson isn't that Earth is haunted, it's that Earth is unfinished, and we've only explored the surface of the unknown.